Hello everyone, my friends. Gianluca Massi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope project, and as always, it's a huge pleasure for me to welcome you on board. As always, we are very proud to share the beauty of the night sky in real time via our robotic telescopes. I'm happy that tonight we can use our technology, our platform to celebrate the 2023 edition of Asteroid Day. So I really want to wish you a wonderful Asteroid Day, which is now at its ninth edition after the first one was hosted in 2015. I'm very proud to be a friend of the founders of the Asteroid Day, which is since 2016 an official event just recognized by the United Nations. If you are a friend of the Virtual Telescope project, you should know pretty well our Asteroid Day, which, as I say, started 8 years ago to increase awareness about asteroids, the risk to have a collision with them, but in general, the Asteroid Day want to increase our awareness about space as a resource. Not only we have to consider asteroids, and hopefully we will be able to save ourselves just in case an impact threat should appear on the horizon, but in the future we will be able to use the precious resources the asteroids are just offering us. To celebrate this Asteroid Day edition this year, once again the Virtual Telescope wants to show you in real time what else? Asteroids, and in particular a potentially hazardous asteroid. So let me start sharing with you our observing dashboard. Just setting up, here we are. In this very moment, it is like if you were sitting in front of our telescope. If you are an old-time friend of the Virtual Telescope, this interface should be looks familiar to you. This is the console able to control one of our robotic telescopes. We are using a 14 inches telescope, which is located in Manciano, Italy, in the southern Tuscany, in the Maremma countryside, one of the darkest regions here in Italy, my friends. So very happy to be able to show this to you. And I'm just checking the weather as well, if you don't mind, just to be sure that everything is okay. Okay, my friend, just checking, and back to you in a few seconds. Okay, friends, the weather is just perfect, so I'm ready to go and share with you live images of the potentially hazardous asteroid 2019 LH5. You can see on the map where the telescope is pointing, that is where you have the yellow circle, and you can see that here you have the asteroid. So I will ask our telescope to go and point this asteroid. Let me see if I can also share with you a little surprise. Let me see if I can or not. I will not tell you what until I am sure I can show you. Here we are. Let me see if I am able to share with you no less than the telescope. Just in the middle of the night. Here we are. Okay, let me see. Here we are, my friends. You should recognize the telescope. Now I will ask the system to move to point the telescope. You will see the telescope moving as a silhouette. Here we are. We are going to point the asteroid. We arrived, and in fact, if I switch back to the console, you can see that now the yellow circle, that is where the telescope is pointing, is just sitting on the red circle where our target was. So we have we should have the asteroid. At this very moment, at this very point, I will ask our system to take a test image and see what is happening there, just to make sure that everything worked fine. Let me see if I can adjust a few things. To summarize, we have a telescope available, okay? We asked it to point the asteroid. Now should be funny to put our eye there, but the telescope is remote and we have an electronic retina there, a very sensitive camera. I asked that camera to collect light for a handful of seconds, 10 seconds to be honest. And now we should be able to see something. Look here. If you look here, you can see there is this little trail, and this is the asteroid, while you have several stars all around. Look here how the asteroid is moving, because it is relatively close. I will tell you a bit more about the distance in a few seconds, because the flyby time that will be in about 7 hours, this object will be 5.7 million kilometers from us, about 15 times the average lunar distance, but it is moving pretty fast, as you can see. Image after image, you can see it is moving while the telescope is tracking, as typically telescope do, the stars. So the asteroid is moving. But now I want to do another thing, if you don't mind. Again, I will ask to point the asteroid. Let's see, perhaps we have a strange image now, because I moved the telescope while it was imaging. And now we have the asteroid here. But I want to do something for you right now. Let me see one thing. At least we are sure that we have the asteroid, of course. Let's take a 2 minutes exposure. Here we are. And I will tell you what I'm doing now. Let me see if I can do this or not. This is just a test. So we asked our system to go to the asteroid. Okay, we check it, and the asteroid is there because we saw it slowly moving against the starry background. And now I'm doing something different. I'm going to ask our telescope to track this object, okay, so that we will be able to track it, taking images. Okay, let me ask the system once again. Okay, here we are, my friends. Okay, sorry. Let me ask the system to point. Everything is happening live here. We have such an advanced technology, and we are going to use it for our own needs. Just making sure. Here we are, my friends. Let's see if something has changed. What is the difference we should expect to see now? Earlier, we slew the telescope, asked the system to capture a quick image, and we saw the asteroid moving against the stars, and it was showing as a little trail. This is obvious because the asteroid is relatively close and it is moving fast. But now I did something different. I just asked my system to track it. So it should be somewhere here. If we look as a dot of light, it should be this one. Okay. So let me take a long exposure image. Here we are. And we will wait for a while. In the meantime, I will tell you a few things about asteroids, because we think of asteroids only when we read somewhere that one of these rocks is just approaching and we fear an impact. Well, very likely when an asteroid is discovered and it is found to come pretty close, it will just have a spectacular flyby. If it is very close but nothing will happen, well, from time to time small asteroids can enter the atmosphere. Something like this happened earlier this year, but perhaps the most spectacular recent event of this type happened, in February 2013 above Chelyabinsk. Just to remind you that the risk of an impact is not just science fiction. This is why scientists like me are observing the sky every clear night using very special telescopes in order to discover asteroids before they can hit us. We want to do better than dinosaurs, Anyway, those small objects are precious resources because they can really reveal a lot about the past, the history of the solar system. We know that asteroids are what is left around of the pristine material from where planets were formed, and comets as well. And comets and asteroids are called the minor bodies, small bodies in the solar system. So having asteroids is an opportunity for us to understand the rules governing this part of the cosmos about 4.5 billions years ago. So very precious to learn about the history of the solar system. And the surviving one, as I said, can from time to time be reason of concern. But look here, my friend, this is just a truly perfect image with the asteroid beautifully tracked by our system, as you can see from here. If you don't mind, I would like to take even a longer exposure. Okay, let me start this. So there are still asteroids out there. We know about 1 million asteroids, mainly orbiting the region between Mars and Jupiter, the so-called asteroid belt. But unfortunately for us, there are a number of them just moving in the inner solar system and sometimes crossing the Earth orbit. Those are of larger interest for us, just because they can, in case, impact with the Earth. And they are named near-Earth objects. And among them, there are perhaps even more special objects, the potentially hazardous asteroid. To be a potentially hazardous asteroid, like this one we are observing, 2019 LH5, you should be at least 140 meters in diameter, and you should be able to approach the Earth orbit closer than 7.5 millions of kilometers. So if you are an asteroid larger than 140 meters and coming closer than 7.5 million of kilometers from the Earth orbit, you can just you can wear the hat saying you are a potentially hazardous asteroid. Potentially, my friend. Perhaps the word potentially is the most important word here, because it does not mean the asteroid is going to impact tomorrow, next year. It just means you are large enough and coming close enough that it is better to keep an eye on you, also to monitor how your orbit will evolve over the time. Okay? I hope that this is just clear enough, showing and underlining that potentially hazardous asteroids are not necessarily going to hit us. Many times, 99% of the times, a potentially hazardous asteroid will not impact us. It is just larger than a given threshold, coming closer than a given threshold, that it deserves a special attention. So happy that we are really having fun and observing so well. This dot of light here is the asteroid, because now the telescope was asked to track this object, okay, while the stars are apparently just leaving trails. I must say that the technology we use as part of the virtual telescope is truly advanced, my friend. And asteroids have been a very special target for us since the virtual telescope project started operations in 2006. By the way, if you like what we are doing, you can support the virtual telescope by donations. Just visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate and donate whatever you want. As you see, we will never ask for money for you to join and enjoy these kind of things. But of course, bills need to be paid, and if you want to help us keeping everything alive and free, just consider donating us whatever you want, being sure that we will use your money to do exactly this kind of things. The new image arrived with the 3-minute long exposure, my friend, and as you can see here, we are just having longer trail, but the asteroid is still beautifully tracked, a sharp dot of light. I also invite you to learn more about Asteroid Day, just visiting www.asteroidday.org. They are good friends of mine, and I was in Luxembourg last weekend for a wonderful Asteroid Day festival there, and I really suggest you to go there and visit their website and learning what they are doing, what they did, what they will do to share with you the opportunities of space and the excitement of astronomical research. We are still tracking the potentially hazardous asteroid 2019 LH5, going to have a relatively close encounter with our planet in about, I would say, 7 hours by now, when it will be at 5.7 million kilometers from us. That is 15 times more than the average lunar distance. The size of this object is between 200 and 500 meters, more or less. And this is a potentially hazardous asteroid because, as I say, is larger than 140 meters, and it is able to come as closer than 7.5 million kilometers. In other words, it is large enough that in case of collision, it could be a serious problem for us. Not able to create a global catastrophic event, but at the continent level, of course. So it is much better to keep these objects under control. We know more than 30,000 near-Earth objects. Less than 10% of them are potentially hazardous asteroids, and very likely we discovered almost all the largest asteroids, say larger than 1 kilometer, because the larger the asteroid, the brighter it is. And our amazing telescopes around the planet were able to discover basically all the larger than 1 kilometer asteroid, which are of course the most dangerous, but still we need to discover a lot of them, having sitting as it's their sides in the 100 meters, okay? For example, the Chelyabinsk meteor, which you should remember, February 2013, was estimated to be more or less 20 meters large. Look here how we are. This diffuse trail is very likely a galaxy on the field of view. Of course, the asteroid is pretty close, about 6 million kilometers now, safely approaching the minimum distance in a few hours. Of course, stars are incredibly farther behind the asteroid, but if you track the asteroid, of course, you have the impression that the stars are leaving trails, as we have seen now. I hope you are having fun. I also want to thank the technological partners to the Virtual Telescope project. They are Software Bisq, C-Web, and Telescope Live. I hope you will consider the opportunity to support us by donation. Visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate and support us. We are relocating our telescopes under very dark skies, leaving our historic site, but we are gaining a lot, and we will be able to bring to you what we shared these years much better, with much more enjoyment and emotion. So please consider supporting us in this honestly titanic effort, because we don't have any financial support, any than what a handful of donors are going to offer us from time to time. If you want to be one of them, please consider supporting us now. www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. Waiting for the next image before I will close this live feed, which share with you, as I said, the potentially hazardous asteroid 2019 LH5. Very, very beautiful sky right now, I see. Blessed with this, even if some clouds are just entering the sky right now, but we are happy with the result. I'm not sure the next image will be perfect because we have clouds. Okay, we are happy with this, my friends. So I want to thank all of you for joining. I hope that this time for you, this time for us was enjoyable. Just keep in mind that next July the 10th we will share a cosmic cruise, sharing with you the best of the sky of July, the deep sky. So if you want to join us, just come back. As always, as in this case, we will able to join for free because we never ask for money, as I said. But if you want to support us, just visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate and support our mission. So friends, I want to thank all of you for joining. I want to wish you once again happy Asteroid Day, and I'm looking forward to have all of you again on board. Gianluca Masi, Virtual Telescope Project, Rome, Italy. Take care, keep looking up.